So let's talk the match itself here. Steel cage match, Triple H against Brock Lesnar. We're on part 11 of Smack Talk here, episode 81. And this was another match that I was just kind of disappointed in. I didn't think it was as good as the other matches that they've had. I was really Peyton. You made a good point on the last episode, and it convinced me um, that I should go into this expecting more, and I think that might have hurt it a little bit for me because you were
Oh.
you were like, oh, I expect this to be a bloodbath and all this, and I was just
I was wrong.
right,
I was way off of that.
and I was like, you know what? They really could end up doing that. This could end up being a brutal, old school, like fucking crazy steel cage match that really makes people think steel cage matches are worth a damn anymore.
Which is what it could have done, but it didn't.
And
It should have been, actually.
yeah,
That's what it should have done.
they acted like this is the one that like this is the biggest match Triple H has ever been in, and that's why he's got this retarded. All right, let me bring it off into this.
This is the moment.
This whole stupid idea that they've got Dolph Ziggler who has a legitimate concussion. They have John Cena who goes into the pay-per-view with an Achilles injury, and they decide that they're going to do a Triple H concussion injury angle. I'm like, come on. But they're acting like this was the most brutal match he's ever been in, and outside of one weak ass sledgehammer thing into it, that was it. Like it was stupid to me. I didn't like this match at all. My favorite part of the whole match was something that Paul Heyman yelled out. He says, "Break the freaking hold. Have some compassion."
That
was
good.
Heyman.
It's more of the same of what we expect from them, though. Sure, the cage is utilized a little bit, but the only really cool spot was like the Lesnar's knee injury thing there, where he jumped up and missed Triple H and hit his knee off the reinforced steel cage. Why it needed to be reinforced, I don't know. I thought, it's going to be way more brutal now that it's bigger. Yeah, it wasn't. It just felt like a regular brawl with a fence around it.
This felt to me like a match that should have been on the mid card, like the quality of it. Now I understand the feud itself, that's why it's the main event, but I didn't feel like this was a main event thing. And if this would have been a Hell in a Cell match, it would have been even more disappointing to me because a Hell in a Cell match should be more. So I did not like it.
You could arguably say the cage might have limited them with, unlike the cell where you can actually go outside the ring, but would we really expect them to do anything more? Because this is really more of the same of what we've seen them do their last two matches.
Right. That's why
it wasn't anything different except there was some fencing around them. That's it.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be that great, and I was really holding hope that Peyton would be able to be like, I told you it'd be a bloodbath, and I'd be like, fuck, you're right.
It was more Triple H trying to look just as strong as Brock. And, Brock can't even beat the shit out of Triple H and get a legitimate victory. Paul Heyman has to interfere and low blow Triple H.
Right.
Lesnar uses the sledgehammer and then F5s him and gets the victory. I'm glad Brock won, but he won like a pussy.
Yeah, exactly. If Brock wouldn't have won, it would have been a complete travesty, but they should have had him win clean too.
Just beat the shit out of him at the end. Even if you take him down with an elbow or whatever, just stun him.
Or why not just have Triple H brought a sledgehammer into it, expecting that to be the equalizer, and Brock Lesnar goes, hey, fuck that shit. Low blows Triple H, because it's legal in the match.
Mm-hmm.
Low blows Triple H, picks up the sledgehammer, hits him over the head, and goes, fuck you, dude. You brought a sledgehammer in, I'm going to fucking low blow you, and I'm going to kick your ass anyway.
Yes. It was good for what it was. It was more of the same. I am just hoping to God that this is over. Like, this is the end of the feud. This is like Del Rio, Sheamus level awful in terms of repetitiveness.
And that's unfortunate because this to me was kind of, in my mind at least, a dream scenario. Triple H and Brock Lesnar are two legitimate main eventers that never met each other in their primes. To see them have a feud like this now, I honestly, at the beginning of this whole thing, was actually really excited.
Yeah, last year going into SummerSlam, same here. By the time of Extreme Rules 2013, not so much.
Yeah, I think the problem is that everything about this was built up so well. In the case of you have Brock Lesnar, who they've built up as this guy who can demolish people. I mean, you think back to before the Triple H feud, the match he had with John Cena. I mean, he bloodied John Cena, which
still his best match back to date.
Yeah, no one's ever been able to do that. And you put this in a steel cage, and you had Brock Lesnar break Triple H's arm. This was built up so big, twice. This whole scenario was built up that they should have gone into there expecting to tear the house down, and they autopiloted it. You know, this is probably the biggest example on the card of two guys just going in there and going through the motions. I mean, even the more brutal spots are spots we've seen before with these guys. You know, the cage really, I don't think played much of a factor.
Very, very little factor. Only for escaping.
Yeah, that's
which I predicted. I knew Lesnar was going to run away from Triple H and try to escape, despite being a cage fighter. Which to me, that insults my intelligence. That looks fucking ridiculous. You are a skilled fighter. You could beat the shit out of him if you wanted to, but you're so scared of the almighty triple hammer that you got to go and try and escape the cage from his clutches because you don't think you can pin him. What the fuck? Really?
And that really confuses me, because you would think Triple H, knowing how the business works, would have gone into there and said, all right, I need you to really take it to me. I need you to, I'm going to let you bloody me up. I'm going to let you get the upper hand on this one. We got to go out here and we got to really sell this thing. And he just was completely unwilling to do that.
In any other situation,
unwilling to do that for 3 matches straight.
In any other situation, if it was Brock Lesnar against anybody else, it would have been. But it was Triple H. That's the whole thing. And this kind of plays into what I was saying earlier about where does Brock Lesnar go from here. I had said before, my idea of Sheamus against Brock at SummerSlam
happen as well,
which would be built around the whole mentor kind of an angle sort of thing. And then there's only a couple more people left. One is The Undertaker, which may or may not ever happen. And I would rather have Cena against Undertaker at WrestleMania. But if we're going to get anybody else against Undertaker, I would want it to be Brock Lesnar. That obviously has to happen at WrestleMania. There's, you can't do it otherwise. And one angle that I've always thought that they should do is they should really make Triple H more of that COO. And one thing that he could do is he could always go to Undertaker around WrestleMania time and be like, look, Brock Lesnar's been a pain in my ass, and no matter what anybody does, we can't get rid of him. If there's anybody in WWE that can get rid of him, it's you, Undertaker. I need you on behalf of WWE to get rid of this pest. That could be a potential storyline, but I don't necessarily want to see it. That way Triple H doesn't have any more matches with Brock Lesnar, but they finish this goddamn feud instead of dragging it out or something.
That scenario kind of bugs me, because to have Undertaker doing deals with the COO kind of humanizes the Undertaker a little too much for my taste. I think Undertaker should go into this on his own volition, separate from the company or separate from any higher power guiding him.
Or have Lesnar call him out.
Yeah, if Brock calls Undertaker out and that leads to the matchup, fine, but I don't think they should have a scenario where Triple H goes to Undertaker for the good of the company and begs him to take out Brock Lesnar. I think that kind of puts a humanizing angle to the Undertaker, which I think they've done a good job of distancing that from him.
I'm okay with it.
I think they should keep it going.
But maybe that's just the fan of me that's like, Undertaker's a real guy, so it would make sense, and the whole backstage stuff. But the two other people are, one of them is a throwaway, and that's Randy Orton. And I think if they're going to have a match with Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar, it has to happen at Survivor Series. Because it's a match that could happen at Survivor Series, and it's big enough for that pay-per-view, but it's not big enough to go on SummerSlam or WrestleMania.
See, that's if we're talking about a mentor storyline or a mentor angle to get somebody into the ring with Brock Lesnar to kind of dovetail off the Triple H feud, I actually see more Randy Orton fitting that role more than Sheamus. I mean, given the history with Evolution, given the fact that Randy's a face, you could play that angle a little bit more than you could with Sheamus. Because if you think about it, Sheamus was a heel when he dealt with Triple H. I mean, in order to play that mentor angle with Sheamus, you'd have to peel back the layers and tell people, look, I may have been in a heel feud with Triple H, but in real life, the guy brought me into the business. He's been my biggest supporter. You
Yeah,
could
but
do
Randy Orton's the one who was fucking up with his family, and
that was
that was
that was
like,
over 3 years ago. That's past the
I think
past the statute
I
of
think it's
limitations.
easier. I think it's easier for somebody like Sheamus who has this whole like built-in respect thing more than Randy Orton. Randy Orton's just like, fuck you, I'll give you an RKO, to go back and be like, yeah, we had one match, but you beat me up and I respect you, and ever since then we've been good friends. And then to have Randy Orton, the guy who like walks alone, be like, by the way, even though I do everything to screw everybody else, and I almost ruined your family, you're my mentor, like that kind of a thing. But the other match that people keep mentioning is CM Punk, and CM Punk and Brock Lesnar, I think, is a WrestleMania worthy match. It might
You think
not.
it's bigger than SummerSlam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a match that is the match that they could do if they're not going to do Lesnar Undertaker or Punk and Austin, because they could do Punk and Lesnar and Cena and Undertaker, and they've completely sold the pay-per-view, I think. And of course, how do you revolve around that? You revolve around Paul Heyman. You have to have a face CM Punk. You can't have a face Brock Lesnar against the heel CM Punk.
That's
and the way that the feud would have to work would be Heyman turning on Punk, obviously.
Right.
Siding with Brock and having Brock just kick him, beat the shit out of him all the time and play the dominant heel. And he'd have to be basically established as, can he overcome Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman, the guy who helped him out for over a year. And can he overcome this?
And one of the things that is a problem when it comes to building up with WrestleMania is, when do you have CM Punk return? And if you have him return, does he return as a babyface, or does he return with Paul Heyman and all that? I think what you have right here is an opportunity with Curtis Axel, where you can have Curtis Axel be that feud that CM Punk has going into the one with Brock Lesnar. Kind of like Brock Lesnar, because you can't have him wrestle Brock Lesnar before WrestleMania if you're doing that. So you need to have somebody to kind of feed to CM Punk. And why not Curtis Axel? You've got months to build him up. Or he might end up not being worth crap, and then it doesn't matter.
Honestly, the way I see it is, the way I would book it is, you have CM Punk come back and join up with Brock Lesnar as kind of this faction, like Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, Curtis Axel. You have that scenario, but you have Punk come in as kind of the de facto leader of sorts, and you slow build to a scenario where Brock Lesnar usurps CM Punk, takes over the lead of the group, and kicks CM Punk out. That causes a CM Punk face turn, which leads then into a matchup between Brock and CM Punk. He comes back. He thinks because he was the big star of this year and last year that he's the leader of this faction. It goes that way for about a few months, and then you have the big moment where Brock Lesnar basically just pimp slaps CM Punk, takes over the lead
out of him.
Yeah, takes over as leader of the group and kicks CM Punk out, which turns Punk babyface, and now you have a reason to have a matchup between those two.
Peyton, what do you think about all this kind of stuff?
About who I think Brock Lesnar should face?
Yeah, what's next with Brock Lesnar and Triple H?
Oh, I hope they're done. I mean, Brock Lesnar Triple H, that needs to be done. That cannot go any further. I mean, they had their rubber match. It was settled. I wish it was settled a little bit better, but
no more matches. That's it.
No, please.
No, I mean on a separate thing. Where do you go with this?
One more match.
Where do you go with this?
Triple H, I mean, if they have to continue this somewhat, I guess Triple H could find some kind of surrogate. If Triple H is doing his CEO thing, he can anoint some type of guy to be his champion to go in against Brock Lesnar. I don't know who that could be.
Sheamus.
Sheamus would be a great one. I also think this would be a great opportunity for the return of Batista. You have Batista and Brock Lesnar.
Not happening.
Yeah, Batista's already said he's doing movies now. If WWE wanted him to come back, he would. I don't think he would want to willingly.
I've never heard of a wrestler denying things on Twitter right before they returned.
Batista 2. Let's get Batista 2 in there.
We'll have Brock Lesnar dressed up as Thanos.
That is pretty funny. Have just feed Mason Ryan to Brock Lesnar.
Well, I mean, something that I think a lot of people started fantasizing about when Brock Lesnar was tearing apart Triple H's office is we saw Brock Lesnar with a world heavyweight title around his shoulder, and it looked good. I think we could all agree, yeah?
Absolutely.
It didn't look bad. I just do not want to see it.
Well, under his current schedule, no, but if he was willing to work in a few more dates, at least be on Raws more consistently, why not?
I'm in agreement with Hayden on that one. I think he would have elevated the belt to no end by having.
And then whoever beat him for it would get a pretty big rub, I would say, if it's the right person.
It would depend on so many factors, I think. He would need to be there much more consistently than The Rock, and he would need to put somebody over that wasn't John Cena or Triple H or Batista or Undertaker or any of the people like that. Randy Orton, Sheamus. He would need to put somebody over big time. And I mean somebody like
CM Punk?
Like a Wade Barrett. You know, somebody who's just like, fuck, this makes them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree.
CM Punk doesn't need it. None of the people that I mentioned before, none of them need it. I would be surprised as all hell if it was somebody like...
It's a matter of who on the WWE roster could you believe having a snowball's chance in hell of beating Brock Lesnar for a title?
Right, because it couldn't be Daniel Bryan. It couldn't be Dolph Ziggler, even though I love Dolph Ziggler. It would be maybe a Ryback, but are you going to invest that much in Ryback when you can't even have him win a single match on a pay-per-view when he's popular? You know,
See, last year, if they'd have said that, I probably maybe would have given him a chance, given how dominant he was as a face. A Ryback face versus a Brock Lesnar heel for a title, I could have seen that happening. Now, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's at the moment for me, they wasted their opportunity with Ryback. At the Rumble, they should have actually made him the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship after a Rumble win. Cena didn't need that Rumble win at all.
Do it with Alex Riley. Make up for all the shit that they've given him. Bring back Shad Gaspard. All right. Any last thoughts, anybody? Before we move on to fantasy league stuff.
End the feud.
End the feud. Again.
End the feud. Yeah. Bury it if you must.
Well, Triple H
with a shovel.
That.
This concussion storyline means that Triple H won't wrestle again.
I hope it means that he forgets that he books himself to win every match.
Yeah.
And he just starts losing.
He forgets he's married to the boss's daughter.
All right, so that'll do us in for So let's go through all of the fantasy league stuff, and we actually have a couple things we're going to take care of. We're going to give you what the points are right now. We're going to talk about some trades, and we're going to add Miguel and Braden to it. So I'm actually going to pass this on to Mike since this is your baby. Go for it.
Oh, it's such a cute baby.
Nah, pun it.
The Keeping Kayfabe Smark Out Moment Fantasy Draft officially kicked off this week at Extreme Rules. We also have Raw factored into this. So after those first two nights, the points are as follows. Michael Burhan is taking an astounding lead with 110 points. His stars were Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, who, of course, both got title wins this Sunday at Extreme Rules. Plus, majority of his team also was victorious on Raw this past Monday night. So that's what's been able to get him amassing a massive amount of points. And the funny thing is, his number one pick overall, in fact, John Cena, has 0 points so far. So this all has been done without the help of John Cena. So, hey, that's something to be, that's a force to be reckoned with. However, not too far behind him is Chris Jester with 80 points. Now, his biggest star has been Roman Reigns, who, of course, just like the other two guys, had a title win at Extreme Rules. Right behind him is Randy Orton, who has won both matches on the past two nights. So he's not too far behind. The next three of us, however, a significant drop.
Yeah.
Brendan Ligon has 10 points. His star player has been Sheamus, who has been victorious on both nights. Tony Mango has 5 points. His star player has been The Miz, victorious on both nights. Daniel Bryan, unfortunately, lost both nights.
Getting that pre-show point.
And all the way in last place, unfortunately, myself, I have -10 points. Pretty much all my people have been losing, except for Chris Jericho, who has been my star, winning both nights.
And as I said before, isn't it funny that the two people that are like the figureheads of this, like the sponsors, I guess you could kind of call it, of this tournament, are we get the worst possible score out of everybody?
Well, hey, things are about to change because I have a substitution to make. And I believe you do as well, Tony, right?
Yeah.
Are you prepared to announce yours? All right, so I will announce mine first. Due to his horrible performance this past Sunday at Extreme Rules and a feeling that he will not be around at least for a little while, and when he comes back, who knows what the heck is going to be going on, Team Payton will be releasing Mark Henry, and we wish him the best of luck in his future endeavors. Now, in his place, I think there's only one real guy I can go for in this, and that is the newest Paul Heyman guy, Kurt Axel.
Ooh.
It's a smart choice, and I really, I wish that I would have had the priority to switch, because I would have done it.
That's the one benefit of being in last place.
Right, yeah. Damn it, Miz, why didn't you fucking lose that match? You know what I mean? So that means that I now have the priority switch, and what better person to switch out of my team than Brodus Clay, who I thought picking that would be a very easy couple of Raw points all the time, because
it's only been one Raw.
Yeah, but I don't. The way that they're doing
reaction.
now that they're going to end up having losing situations to the Shield and stuff like that, I've got no faith in Brodus Clay whatsoever anymore. So the big question to me was, do I pick up somebody like a Justin Gabriel, or do I go for somebody like I lock in that Undertaker win or something stupid, like that. But it came down to
wasting a whole slot just for one WrestleMania win is
right, exactly.
Really
so
iffy.
It came down to two potential choices for me, and that was either Christian or Mark Henry. And I've been going back and forth about it, and I literally, up until you said that you were dropping Mark Henry officially, I thought I was going to go with Mark Henry. I'm actually going to replace Brodus Clay with Christian. And my main reasoning is, even though Mark Henry might return as a babyface and he might win matches after that, I don't think that Mark Henry is going to return for at least a month or so. And if he does, I can't see a big babyface turn winning him lots of pay-per-view matches. But Christian is somebody who, when he returns, he's going to wrestle a lot. And he might lose those matches, but he's probably going to be involved in title feuds. And there's more of a chance that he will return and wrestle more matches and give me a more potential outcome. And of course, who knows, maybe I'll drop him down the line. So I'm switching Brodus Clay for Christian.
All right, well, that's two official switches in the teams. Now we are going to have a supplemental draft of sorts, because we are going to be adding two new people, making this a huge draft. We're going to have 7 people involved overall. Braden and Miguel, welcome to the Fantasy League draft.
Thank you.
First order of business
we're doing this
is to draft your teams. Now, it's going to be slim pickings, because, we already got, was it 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 people picked out off of the roster, so you're going to have to pick from the bottom feeding parts. But, hey, I think you guys can still get some contenders here.
You could get Primo.
Yeah, I was just about to say, if superstars and main event were a factor, we would both be leading the pack.
Does main event count?
Main event does not count, but
it's actually a pretty good show. I just thought I'd ask.
SmackDown doesn't even count, does it?
No, maybe we can make SmackDown count. I think to make this a little more fair. No, there's still a few matches on there.
Yeah.
I don't know. How do you guys feel about that?
I would make SmackDown count.
I would say SmackDown, but not any of the other ones.
Yeah,
not even main event.
Slam. No, not main event.
You could do Saturday Morning Slam because it's already canceled.
It's coming back. It's coming back. Anyway, we're getting really off topic here. So when we originally picked who was going to get the first draft pick, we did it over who got the best WrestleMania predictions. Unfortunately, Braden was originally intending to be a part of it, but he was out of town the night we did our draft, so he couldn't be there. And in order to figure out how we're going to pick who's first, I just went with Braden because he was initially supposed to be a member. So sorry, Miguel. But the good thing is we're going to do this the same style that we did when we did our draft. And that is, I forget what it's called, a snake style, I believe it is. So the way it'll work is, Braden, you get number 1. But then, Miguel, you're going to get 2 and then 3. And then, Braden, you'll get 4, 5, and then so on, going back and forth like that.
Until you fill it up.
Until we fill it up. 5 members for each, guys. Everyone got it?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Braden, you have the floor to pick your first pick.
Okay, I'm going to draft right off the bat, and it might be a bit of a, I believe he's going to return in a few matches during the summer. I'm going to pick the currently injured Rey Mysterio. Now, if he does not come back, that'll be a horrible choice. That'll come back to haunt me. But I have a feeling that he will at least come back for like maybe a few matches in the summer and the fall, or try and hang around for a bit, going into November. I think he might win a few matches or whatnot.
That's not bad, I got to say, because when he is there, he likely will be winning. I don't think he's a guy who is going to come around and just lose left and right just to put over new guys. He's going to be one of those guys who just picks up those constant victories on Raw, probably even a few on pay-per-view.
Exactly.
So, Miguel, sorry, go ahead, Braden.
I was saying exactly, yeah. If he comes back, is his future still up in the air? So, we'll see. I have a feeling he will come back late this summer.
He's been putting out positive messages on Twitter, so we'll see. Miguel, you have the next 2 picks.
Next 2 picks?
Yes.
All right, I guess I might as well take my tag team that I wanted to take. I think these guys have the potential to be big stars. I'm hoping WWE finds something to do with both of them. I'm going to go with the primetime players, Darren Young and Titus O'Neil.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. So Titus O'Neil and Darren Young both drafted onto Team Miguel. Braden, you have now the next 2 picks, the number 4 and number 5 between you two.
Okay, so I'm going to draft at this point R-Truth. Yeah, he gets his few wins every now and then. He's a decent mid-carder, gets a pretty decent television time, I would say. So he's going to be a member of my team, and I will also draft the leader of the 3-man band, Heath Slater, baby!
I'm a little jealous. I wish I just had Heath Slater on my team for novelty purposes.
Like we could all pick a mascot.
Miguel, you got the next 2.
I'm going to go with one guy that I think still gets a good reaction from the fans. I could see him getting wins just for a joke, just to send the fans home happy. My first pick is going to be Santino Marella.
Mm-hmm. Good choice.
And the second one I'm going to pick, I know people are going to harp on me for it, but I still think that WWE hasn't completely given up on him. I think that there's still...
Yeah, go ahead.
Sin Cara.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Sin Cara.
That's not where I thought that was going at all.
Really?
Why?
I knew that's where that was going.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think WWE's completely given up on Sin Cara. I could see them maybe having a wild hair in them and just deciding, hey, let's try to push Sin Cara again, especially if Ray's coming back. We could set something up between those two. So my 2 picks are Sin Cara and Santino Marella.
Imagine they just have like a big lucha phase where like
Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara into my plan, because I was also going to draft Sin Cara in case they were going to put Mysterio and him back into a tag team. So that completely throws a wrench in. So I'm guessing now it's back to me for the next 2 picks.
Yep, you got the number 8 and the number 9, and these will be your final 2, so make them count.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see who's left.
Make sure to pick that Yoshitatsu and William Regal.
Well, hey, if you're going for all 3 members of the 3-man band, here's your opportunity.
Yeah, well, the people that are left right now, just to give everybody a clue, we still have Alex Riley, Bo Dallas, Brock Lesnar, Brodus Clay, Camacho, Kurt Hawkins, Drew McIntyre, Epico, Evan Bourne, Ezekiel Jackson, The Great Khali, Hornswoggle, Unico, The Usos, Jinder Mahal, JTG, Justin Gabriel, Mark Henry, Primo, The Rock, Ted DiBiase, Tensai, Triple H, Tyson Kidd, Undertaker, William Regal, Yoshitatsu, Zack Ryder.
Oof.
So there's actually big names on there that if they weren't just part-time players,
Oh,
they would be nabbed up in a minute.
I'll be the guy who if Mark's not gonna be out for that long, I'm gonna put him on my team.
Okay.
For my second
Smart.
last, and for the last part, I'll just put I'll give Heath Slater some company. I will add Jinder Mahal to my team as the second member of 3MB.
Any specific reason why him
He's the
rather
funny
than
one.
Drew
Because
McIntyre?
usually he tags with Heath, and like Drew just kind of dances at ringside. If you've noticed, they're usually both in matches together.
Okay, that's fair. That's sound reasoning. All right, Miguel, you have your final pick, the number 10 pick for this supplemental draft.
Well, I figured I originally was going to go with Brodus Clay just because I figured it'd be a safe bet because they always have to have the joke on Raw, the Dancing Bears, yeah. But I think seeing as how we have one member of the 3-man band left standing, I figure I'll be the nice guy and take him. So I'll take Drew McIntyre.
Oh,
You're gonna get points for standing off on the side dancing.
Do we get appearance points? Like if they actually appear on the show, do we get some type of points?
No, unfortunately
Wins
not.
and wins are for points. Losses, you go negative, pretty much.
Yep, basic as basic can be. Extra points for winning titles or Money in the Banks or Royal Rumbles or anything like that.
Okay, in that case, let me change my
Okay.
decision then. You know what? I'm going to go with. It's a safe bet. I think I am going to go with Brodus Clay. I do think that there is a spot for him on Raw and SmackDown just as the joke. And I could see them giving him a win once in a while just to kind of send the fans home happy. So, I got Santino Marella. I might as well go with Brodus Clay.
All right. So the teams we have officially here are Team Braden is Rey Mysterio Jr., R-Truth, Heath Slater, Mark Henry, and Jinder Mahal. And Team Miguel is Titus O'Neil and Darren Young, the primetime players, Santino Marella, Sin Cara, and Brodus Clay.
Curious that nobody went with Brock Lesnar or who was the other one that I was Great Khali, actually, because Khali, he wrestles quite a bit of matches.
And he also disappears for half a year spans too sometimes.
Yeah,
True.
and dance-offs don't earn points.
What about when he sings?
And then Khali and Zack Ryder are going to go on 2 winning streaks, and nobody's going to get any points.
What about when he finds Caitlin's admirer? Does that earn points?
What about when he learns how to walk?
And by the way, when you were talking about when you were going to draft someone that you don't think the WWE has lost faith in, I thought you were going to say Zack Ryder.
I did too.
I thought you were actually going to say Justin Gabriel.
Oh, I knew he was going to say Sin Cara, because that was actually going to be my next pick, because I'm like, if they bring him back, they're definitely going to tag him with Ray. So if he comes back, that would be extra points for me. And then, no, he
Just
took
wait
him.
until Zach starts picking up wins. I want to see you guys scrambling.
Yeah, everybody's going to, if he gets a push and just ends up winning a whole shit ton of matches and gets momentum on his side again, everybody's just going to be like, oh, fuck. We gave up on him too soon. Just our luck.
All right, well then that does that round out everything with the fantasy league?
Yeah, I believe everything is in order here. I'll get all the sheets updated, and we're gonna take things into next week. Actually, I'm gonna have to tally SmackDown for tonight too.
Yeah, that's right. So remember, everybody, if you're paying attention to that, I will have some kind of a little graphic up here, maybe of the points. If not, maybe I'll start doing it next week. Probably be a little bit easier for me if I do it next week instead.
Yeah, this is still going to be a feeling out process. This is only the first week, and we're going to be doing this all the way to WrestleMania 30. So this is in for the long haul, folks.
Right. So
and I'm still going to be on top as usual.
So stay tuned to both Smack Talk and Keeping Kayfabe, where you're probably going to get more results about what the current standings are on Keeping Kayfabe and everything like that. But we will update you whenever we can on anything that happens, any new trades that happen in the process, or any injuries, or blah 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 blah. Since we're already plugging stuff, let's move on. First plug, as always, we have the Sign Me Up initiative, Smark Out Moment, part of the IWC outreach. Bring a Smark Out Moment sign to any kind of a wrestling event of any kind, whether it's TNA or ROH or, you find Iron Sheik doing autographs somewhere. I don't care. Send me a picture or a video of it, and I will put it up on all the website and all of that kind of stuff. Make sure that you guys check out fanboysanonymous.com. And if you actually are interested in writing for Fanboys Anonymous, I'm looking to expand the roster of contributors. So if you like comic books and video games and movies and TV shows and music and Broadway and the internet and memes and technology and all this fucking geek stuff, if you're a fan of that stuff and you want to join in on the team, then shoot me a message, drop me a comment, tweet, anything like that. Better chances are to send me a contact message on the website itself, fanboysanonymous.com. And, go ahead. The more the better. So check that out. Check out onlimbs.com for any social commentary that I might end up posting. And make sure you check out those Bleacher Report stuff. So that's going to do me in for my plugs. I'm going to move on to Braden.
Okay, you can, of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's www.youtube.com/SpoodBeast. Follow me on Twitter @SpoodBeast again. And, please visit fanboysanonymous.com, as Tony mentioned earlier. We all contribute there, and we'd love to see more contributors and continue to see the site grow little by little, and if not, even bigger than that. So where you can visit, as he said, for everything geek. Also, keep watching Smack Talk every basically Saturday by the time you watch this, because we all love contributing to the show each and every week, giving you wrestling analysis. So the more you stay subscribed and watching, and the more you tell your friends, the more we can keep on doing this. Stay tuned, folks. All right,
Miguel.
Kayfabe commentaries. Not kayfabe commentaries. I'm reading something on a U-shoot right now. Fanboysanonymous.com. I'm sorry, I was plugging the wrong thing. I was reading something and wasn't paying attention.
Since when do you own that? Shit.
I work with
on one of your DVDs.
Yeah, I work with that Sean guy. Fanboysanonymous.com. 90s Kid Presents is my series that I've got going on. I just put up one for Blue Stinger for the Sega Dreamcast that went up on Monday. I'm hoping to get another one up. This time it's going to be a PlayStation title. I won't tell you what it is. You'll have to read it. And I've got an editorial working out about some of the events that have taken place this week, specifically the Xbox One reveal, the Halo TV series that's going to be popping up, and the rumors surrounding the Jurassic Park quote-unquote reboot. I'm hoping to get that finished tonight and then maybe get that up tomorrow, depending on if there's any issues with it or and whatnot. So hopefully that'll happen. Other than that, and screw it, I'm in the draft now. I'm not pimping Team Jester's Facebook page anymore. I'm in the draft now.
You gotta make your own Facebook page.
Yeah, I'm gonna start my own. Yeah, with blackjack and hookers. But just check out 90s Kid Presents. I really want this to get off the ground. Fanboysanonymous.com.
All right, Brian.
I come from a little site known as nerdgenius.com, www.nerdgenius. Sorry, it's too early in the morning here. And you can also check out my YouTube channel, the Nerd Genius, TheNerdGenius. I also do work for fanboysanonymous.com and loads of other projects, and I'm also on Keeping Kayfabe with Mike Payden, and I got gameplay. We're going to be talking about our own review on this week's episode of the Xbox One and what we're looking at in terms of the rumors circulating around about the console and what the reveal kind of did for us. So check that out, and also check out, again, the YouTube channel for my little vlogs and plugs and other stuff. And watch out for episode 1 of Rewriting the Book coming this week, which is rebooking Ryback. And if you can hear that little person behind me, is my son, who just decides he wants to talk over me. So I'll give it over to Payden.
He sounds adorable.
Oh. All right, let's see who's going to pick up on this here. I come from the Keeping Kayfabe podcast, where wrestling is still real to us.
Damn it.
We got it in stereo. If you listen to the show, I'm sure you're a fan of wrestling and you're a fan of podcasts. And I don't want to take any listeners from Tony. Keep listening to Smark Out Moment. This is a very fun show and a very unique show in its own right. And I feel like I always say this over and over again. Keeping Kayfabe a little bit different of a flavor. I consider us water cooler talk. If you're a fan of looking into the past of what's going on in wrestling, and if you like calling in, we are on Blog Talk Radio. So if you want to listen to a live wrestling show, Keeping Kayfabe with myself, Brandon Ligon, who's often here. Tony joins us once in a while. Michael Burhan's on there all the time. Everyone else is always welcome. You never know who's going to show up on Keeping Kayfabe Live. So tune in every Thursday night, blogtalkradio.com/Dream Elite. That's Dream Elite Radio, keepingkayfabe.com, which will also link you to all the other places we are on iTunes, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And I also want to push Newbie TV, new-b.tv. That's actually the web address. I know you're used to .coms. It's new-b.tv. It's a web channel of original webisodes that I'm creating. Right now, I am working on episode 2 of Two Oafs at Lawn Chairs, which is going to be taking the Grand Theft Auto style of gameplay and setting it in my hometown of Newburgh. So if you're from New York and you know anything about Newburgh, you know how well that's going to work.
Starring the Big Oaf.
Starring the Big O. And as everyone else has said, I already plugged Smark Out Moment. Fanboys Anonymous, I got an article over there, and you'll be seeing more over the summer. And that's pretty much. Oh, I got gameplay. I'm on I got gameplay all the time. That's becoming a tongue twister lately for me. So check out I Got Gameplay as well. All these projects that we're doing. I mean, there's lots of fun stuff going on among these group of people. So always be checking out what we're doing.
The collective is growing more and more. Stay tuned, everybody, for episode 82. Oh, you're making me screw up now.
We're all going through puberty, apparently.
Stay tuned for episode 82. Next week, well, that's going to be episode 82. We are going to have 2 specialty posts because I didn't plan this one thing out ahead of time because it's TNA, so fuck them. We're going to talk about the Slammiversary predictions, and we're going to have Wrestling with the Past, talking about One Night Stand and the WWE version of ECW. So that's coming your way next week. Thank you again for listening to this episode, and obviously if you go back and check out all the other ones, then thanks for that as well. We will see you then, everybody. This has been another Smark Out Moment, and we're being counted out. Adios, everyone.
Outro, 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 outro.
That makes up for Burhan not saying outro the other way.